Okay, so I'm just going to start off like this. If there's any game that knows how to make you feel like an absolute boss for just doing the simplest of things, it's going to be this one. From the wall running to the insane kill streaks you can pull off with some of the new weaponry, Black Ops 3 is the game for me. No, but all jokes aside, this is a downright awesome game, guys. Now, I know the Call of Duty series cops a lot of hate, and considering previous installments, I'm not going to deny that it was just a little bit deserved. Call of Duty Ghosts. But I think it's about time Treyarch redeems the Call of Duty name, and so they have with this release. Okay, so without further ado, let's get down to the nitty gritty and rip apart this son of a bitch. Alright, so, you know when a little kid picks his nose and you just look at him with this overwhelming sense of unforgiveness and disgust? Well, that's just like what you feel about the user input in this game. Specifically, the mouse input. It's seriously like the work, or lack of, the Treyarch team put into the mouse input for this console port is like the booger that Treyarch picked, flicked, and left to dry up and go crusty on the PC gaming community. Now please note that this is only an issue of the console port. I'm sure the console gamers are having a splendid old time playing with lag-free aiming on their home TVs. So why is this an issue, I hear you ask? Well, let me tell you in the simplest way possible. Call of Duty mouse input is, and always has been, tied to the frame rate that the game is running at. So if this is something that has always been a part of the Call of Duty series, but has never been a problem, why is it a problem now? Simply because of the sheer amount of graphics processing muscle that is required to run this prick of a game. This is partially due to a lack of optimization on part of the dev team at Treyarch, but it's also simply due to the amazing graphical power that the new engine sports. New topic: bullet flinching and no aim assist. It's just like water and oil. They don't fucking mix. I don't know what bright spark at Treyarch decided not to turn down the heinous amount of bullet flinching that is endured when you are hit by enemy fire, but it's honestly ridiculous. The amount of times I'd be trying to shoot someone only to find I have to practically whip my mouse to aim back on them because the character flinched halfway across the bloody screen makes me want to smack a bitch. Now I don't care what anybody says, this is an easy fix. You can either turn it down or turn it off. Simple. Now let's get on to some good stuff here, or else I'm gonna give myself a bloody aneurysm. The movement system, as debatable and argument-inducing as it is fucking amazing in my opinion. Now before I lose half of you because you think I'm just some jetpack fanboy that'll suck up any shit Activision and Treyarch push out, hear me out because I do have some valid points here. Okay, so the movement system in Advanced Warfare. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. In hindsight, after playing the Black Ops 3 beta, Advanced Warfare's double jump and mid-air boost system was clunky as fuck. It honestly felt like I had 5 options: up, forward, back, left, and right. Now when you compare it to the movement system in Black Ops 3, it's as smooth as butter. In Black Ops 3, it honestly felt limitless with what movement I want my character to do. Instead of jumping up and then dashing forward and then landing and then dashing left, I can do that entire movement in one continuous fluid motion. Not only does this just feel better to the average player, it just makes sense when you're trying to aim at them. When you're firing at someone and they're moving around, you want to be able to see what direction they're moving in so then you can trace them and use your ability to lead your aim. In Advanced Warfare, it felt like a guessing game. You would see them jump in the air, but then they would dash so quickly in any direction that it was practically impossible to predict, and then forced you to have to whip your mouse just to keep your crosshair on them. I feel Treyarch have honestly hit the nail on the head with this one. And just one more thing regarding the implementation of jetpacks in both Advanced Warfare and now Black Ops 3. I get it. Once a year, you would complain about a new Call of Duty reskin being released, claiming that it is just the new groundbreaking installment to the franchise, but being let down just to find that the new features they added, if anything, were hardly groundbreaking at all, and just resulting in the exact same game as the year before, just with some new maps and a different title. I totally get you. Don't worry, I gave up with the franchise too after that. But now that they are implementing some stuff that really does change the game up, you are bitching about this too now. Guys, I don't mean to say that you are wrong or anything, but you need to make up your mind. Do you want another reskin, just running around locked to the ground like all the other Call of Duties, with just a few new maps and weapons? Or do you want something that will make a change in the Call of Duty series? Albeit a change that won't necessarily suit everyone's playstyle, but a change enough to be able to safely say that they haven't just pushed out another reskin. I'll leave you to think about that for a little while. Ooh, now who could have a little bit of Black Ops 3 controversy while failing to mention the new specialist system introduced in this new installment? Now I will admit, I was a major skeptic when I first heard about this new game-changing mechanic the designers over at Treyarch decided to chuck in Black Ops 3, cause I mean, why the hell not? Now, besides the fact that you literally see strikingly obvious clones of yourself running around the battlefield, I didn't really find anything to hate about the specialist system. I only hope they implement some sort of character customization feature like they had in Advanced Warfare and Ghosts. Or else, it's just gonna be the exact same thing as the beta. Clones everywhere. Surely Treyarch wouldn't let something like this slip by, especially since it's already been covered in the previous Call of Duties. Now getting into the more meaty part of the specialist controversy. Specialist weapons and abilities. Most of the hate definitely gets dished out to the abilities. Some notable ones worth mentioning being the kinetic armor and rejack abilities. The prior, allowing everything apart from your head to be 100% bulletproof while remaining vulnerable to anything that isn't a bullet, and the latter, allowing you to completely revive yourself from the dead, exactly the same as the survivalist gadget in Battlefield Hardline. A lot of these abilities were copying a lot of flack for being considered OP, but I honestly didn't see a problem with them. I've been a heavy user of the kinetic armor ability, and like being able to stop myself from being shot if I'm trying to pull out of the middle of a gunfight without getting ripped to shreds. I generally preferred this ability over the rejack one, simply because when you died with your rejack ability all charged up and ready for use, it would automatically deploy itself, and if you chose not to use it, it would chew up half of its charge even though you chose not to use the bloody thing. It basically didn't allow you to save it for a time when you felt you most needed it, like I did with my lovely kinetic armor, which, may I mention, saved me many times, and I'm sure infuriated the guy on my tail end. But oh well, it's a game. You can't have an even playing field all the time. Look at the Anzacs and the Turks for Christ's sake. Those legends kept on marching on, despite the bullshit cards they had been dealt. Why not let a little bit of Gallipoli into the Call of Duty mix, eh? And the guns! Who could forget the guns? Now, I've never really been one to feel encouraged to try out every gun in the game at hand. I've always just picked my favourite and stuck with it. But this was the first game that actually made me want to try out all the guns they had to offer. I knew from the moment I started using it in one of the pre-made classes, the Vesper would be the one for me. But as I unlocked them, I felt enticed to try everything new that I gained access to and see if they tickled my fancy at all. Unfortunately, nothing beat the Vesper for me, but as you see in the footage in front of you, I had a bunch of fun with a range of other guns, such as the Haymaker, that OP as hell auto shotty that everyone was running and gunning with, and the Razorback that, although being a submachine gun, I actually felt comfortable with at long range. And although I didn't stick with it, not being a sniper in Call of Duty and all, the Locust bolt action rifle did look pretty cool. Okay, so the paint shop is an awesome little feature that allows you to customize the skin of your weapons as you please. It pans out as a very similar system to the way you make emblems and such in previous Call of Duties and other games such as Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline, though I didn't get to experience this as it wasn't released on the PC copy of the beta for some unknown reason. I did manage to watch other people give it a go, and it seems like something I could lose hours upon hours on, just customizing the looks of all my guns with the 64 layers of detail you have at your disposal. The Scorestreaks. The Scorestreaks. From what I've seen, there's not a whole lot of change in this department as far as I'm concerned. Aside from a couple of new additions to the array of already existing Scorestreaks carried over from the previous games, I mean, you can't really expect too much change, seeing as, well really, how different can Scorestreaks really get? But I see what they've done, making some fit a lot more into the super high-tech theme, such as my personal favourite, the wraps, that, when called in, a ship arrives and drops multiple of these crazy little spherical drone balls of death that speed around and chase down enemy players with an explosion. All the other ones just seem to be simply futuristic adaptations of the same Scorestreaks from the previous Call of Duties. The Scorestreak featured in the title of this video, the H.A.T.R, is one of the said adaptations from the previous installments. Having similar effects to the SR-71 Blackbird and the Orbital VSAT from Black Ops 1 and 2, the H.A.T.R will display all enemies' positions on the map in real time. But unlike the previously mentioned kill streaks, this Scorestreak can be shot down, only with the use of rocket launchers though. Another new addition to Black Ops 3 is the Mothership. This Scorestreak comes equipped with both machine guns and rockets, and like the AC-130 gunship from the Battlefield series, the Mothership allows up to 3 players to access this Scorestreak simultaneously and raise hell upon those filthy ground dwellers. One of the most effective, convenient and cheap Scorestreaks I have found are the Hellstorm missiles, the same ones found in Black Ops 2 just in case you haven't been keeping up with the series. Now these sons of bitches are exactly the same as the Predator missiles from the Modern Warfare series, but instead of just one single missile pile driving into a chosen enemy, you can decide to deploy mid-air and divide into a clusterfuck of missiles, denying every single enemy target in the area that isn't under cover. This Scorestreak could be considered just a little bit OP in my opinion. However, when one is deployed, it does give a few good seconds of warning to hopefully provide you with enough time to run under cover before your ass is toast thanks to these flying death warrants. That, however, is not a feature of Black Ops 2, so it's good to see Treyarch noticed how having no warning with one of these above you is just a little bit ridiculous. There are a few more additions to the Scorestreaks in Black Ops 3, but I won't bore you with the details. If you want to find out more about them, Google is your friend. The perks in Black Ops 3 fit nicely into the Pick 10 system carried over from previous Call of Duty games, with a lot of the same perks carried over too, and just like the Scorestreaks, a few new ones have been added, but it as a whole has pretty much stayed the same. Some of my favourites are Overclock, shortening the recharge time on your specialist weapon or ability. Anti-Up, which gives you a boost in Scorestreak points on spawn, allowing you to earn your Scorestreaks a lot sooner. Tracker, allowing you to see a digital footprint of your enemy's path, lasting about 4 or 5 seconds behind them. This one often resulted in me chasing down many of my enemies over a long distance and time, finally catching up to them and giving them a nice little knife in the back. And of course, everyone's favourite, Gung Ho, allowing them to hip fire, deploy equipment and throw grenades while sprinting. All perks are divided up into 3 separate tiers, which are more like categories to be entirely honest, and can be double stacked with the use of wildcards, which also take up a slot in the Pick 10 system if chosen to be used. Segueing from one topic to a slightly related one, the common combat knife has now been removed from a standard loadout and is now available to be equipped from the secondary weapons slot, also tying into the Pick 10 system. It can be a viable weapon to use, allowing you to sprint at very fast speeds and down your enemies with one hit, but of course renders ranged targets unhittable, unless of course you pull out your primary, but that takes time. Instead of the standard melee attack being a one-hit knife, as it always has been, Treyarch decided to change this up by making the melee hits a solid whack with the butt of your gun, in an attempt to eliminate panic knifing from the game. Now, I would have thought that this would have fixed that issue too, but as you may have noticed in the gameplay footage in front of you, I have on many occasions actually one-hit enemies with a melee strike, resulting in a little medal popping up saying Nosebreaker. Now, I'm not sure if they have actually been one-hit kills because the enemies had been previously hit and reduced to less than 100% health without me knowing or what, but I have been able to panic melee enemies on Black Ops 3 so many times, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Maybe the melee attack needs another nerf? I think another point worth mentioning is that due to their significantly increased effectiveness, tactical grenades have made a long-awaited return to the Call of Duty franchise. Now, I'm not saying they've been re-added to the game or anything, because no, they have always been there. But this time round, they are so much more effective than in previous Call of Duties. The smokes are smokier, the stuns are stunnier, the flashes are flashier, and the EMPs are zappier. But no, legit, if you are hit by, for example, the concussion grenade, your player will be blinded, deafened, and slowed down for a good 5 or so seconds. Not pretty if you're on the receiving end, let me tell you. And one last point I'd like to make is about the maps. They are big, they are bold, and they are beautiful. No, but seriously guys, Treyarch have really nailed this one, giving us maps that just work. They are easy to learn and navigate, and they are downright bloody gorgeous. Head level designer and level artist over at Treyarch, props to you guys, job well done. Now, with the maps in Black Ops 3, they have gone where no COD has gone before. Only having 3-lane maps. No random CDP or Black Ops sided maps. Everything is even and everything is fair. I think this is a great design decision by Treyarch. Just wrapping things up here now, I'd like to say that I will wholeheartedly invest my money into this game. Not just because it's the next COD game, but because this is a game that deserves my money. And to be fair, I think it deserves everyone's money. Contrary to popular belief, the dev team of this game actually cares about the outcome of it, and are passionate about rewriting everyone's current negative outlook upon the Call of Duty franchise, and making this game the best it can possibly be. After all, they didn't have a beta for nothing. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. I'm sorry it's like a week late, but it took a bit longer to make than I thought it would. And I'm sorry it turned out like 20 minutes long. My original intention was for it to be like 10 minutes tops, but I wanted to make sure I covered all bases. So if you liked it, don't forget to share it with your friends, and of course, if you want to keep on seeing more content from me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'll see you next time. Over and out.